And I'm also sick of setting the same goals and putting them on my vision board year after year. I feel like if I take this time weeks before the new year to actually do a life audit, to commit myself to this rebrand, and to look at the year in a different set of eyes, I believe that I'll be able to accomplish the goals that I really want to going into 2025. If you find yourself in the same predicament and you're just really want this year to be the year that you actually see growth, I implore you to not only continue to watch this video, but also to hit that notification bell and to hit the subscribe button, because this channel is built specifically for that. What's going on, y'all? It is the one and the only, the first and the finest, Miss Wright. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. If you are new here, get a head start by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I promise you are going to enjoy yourself. And if you are returning, y'all already know the vibes. So in today's video, we will be doing a New Year life audit. Today is Saturday, December 14th. It is the perfect time to do a life audit. It does not have to be approaching the new year. However, when you're this close to the new year, this is the best time to do so. One, you're hopefully about to create yourself a vision board. So what better time to be able to do a life audit and really reflect on the year thus far. I'm going to get into what I like to do before the new year, and I'm having a life audit because, as most of you know, if you are if you've been sticking around this channel for long enough, then you know that I am embarking on a rebrand. And I have been ever since I've transitioned into my late 20s, aka I crossed the 27 mark. And yeah, I'm on this rebrand, I'm on this journey, and I want to level up, I want to glow up, I want to become the best version of myself in 2025. And I'm also sick of setting the same goals and putting them on my vision board year after year. I feel like if I take this time weeks before the new year to actually do a life audit, to commit myself to this rebrand, and to look at the year in a different set of eyes than I typically do, I believe that I'll be able to accomplish the goals that I really want to going into 2025. I have a whole new vision in mind. I have a whole new set of things that I plan to implement in this life audit and carry with me throughout my 2025 Q1 and thereafter, that I believe is going to put me on the path to success. So if you find yourself with the same problems, or if you find yourself in the same predicament, having similar issues with setting the same old goals and not seeing them come into fruition, feeling like your vision boards are falling flat, or you haven't even created one before, and you're just really want this year to be the year that you actually see growth, I implore you to not only continue to watch this video, but also to hit that notification bell and to hit the subscribe button, because this channel is built specifically for that. If you are interested in bettering your life, whether it is in terms of your mental state, your physical, your health and wellness, your finances, growing and really taking your 20s by the bootstraps. I hate that term. I'm gonna say something else. Taking your 20s by the horns, by the saddle, whether you're in your 20s or not. If you're interested in taking those 20s, grabbing them by that saddle and riding this thing out so that we can thrive in our 30s, I highly suggest that you subscribe. I highly suggest that you subscribe and that you hit that notification bell, because that is what I'm interested in doing in this channel, and you're coming on the journey with me. This is not an expert situation. Yes, I know everything that there is to know about thriving in my 30s. I'm not there yet. I'm just your average Gen Zennial girl who wants more for herself and is doing everything in her capabilities to try to succeed and become the best version of myself. So if that's something that you're trying to do, I highly suggest that you stick around. So what is a life audit? I guess there's probably different definitions or people do it differently, but for me, I'm kind of looking at it as a year in review. So if you've ever worked in a corporate setting or in some kind of setting where you've been in a job for longer than a year, sometimes they'll do this thing called a year-end review, where they'll bring you in and you'll have a meeting, maybe a one-on-one with a manager of some sort, and you guys will talk about everything that happened in the last year, 2024's highlights, all of the things that you might have done well, all of the things that you probably could have done better, trying to get to the bottom of that. How did we do in the year of 2024, and what can we do moving forward so that we can just continue to elevate. That is essentially what the basis of a year in review is, and that is what I am trying to view my new year life audit as well. Kind of also categorizing the different parts of your life and grading yourself in each of those categories. So let's start. First thing that I want you to do before coming up with your categories, I want you to start with gratitude. I believe that starting with gratitude is the best thing to do because, for one, I've done it and it works. I talked about this briefly in another video, not sure if it's still gonna be up or not, but in 2023, I accomplished a lot. I got a new car, a new job, I moved here, I got a new crib. I did a lot for myself, and I started the year in the house. I did not go to the club or anything like that. Not to say you can't, but I started the year intentionally with my journal, writing down the different things that I successfully did in 2022. And I think that it kind of reshaped my mindset because we have a tendency to set very high goals for ourselves right before the new year. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to save $100,000. I want to buy a new car. I want to buy a new crib. We set these very large goals for ourselves in the beginning of the year. And then at the end of the year, we may look back on those goals and see all of the things we didn't accomplish and feel like trash. And when you start the year off with gratitude, you allow yourself to see all the things that you did accomplish, and it kind of makes you look at things differently. Changing your mindset so that you're not starting off the year with pessimism or just feeling defeated, like, damn, I had a crappy year because everything on my vision board didn't come true. You did accomplish things, whether they were on your vision board or not. So I challenge you to take this time to write a list of all of the things that you've accomplished in 2024. So for me, some of the things that are on my vision board that I did accomplish, let me just look at it real quick because I keep it on my lock screen. Can you see it? I keep it on my lock screen. I also keep it as the on my lock screen, on my screensaver, and on my laptop as well. This is also something that I highly suggest doing and that I'll continue to do. But things that are on my vision board that I did accomplish: a new bed, built myself, very proud of myself, and I saved up the money and I got it. I also got myself a new couch. I got that for the low, very surprised, but things just worked out in my favor and I was able to get the new couch for a very affordable price, and I'm very grateful for that situation because Lord knows how long I've wanted a new couch. What else did I do that's on here? I would say that I have definitely had the most consistent gym. This was my most consistent gym year. I think I pushed myself further than the last year, whereas I might have gotten comfortable just going. This year I put actual discipline, and I have the word discipline on here as well. I put actual discipline where the gym was concerned. I think it might have been my most consistent. I might have seen the most consistent effort toward the gym in 2024. Anything else on here that I've accomplished? So here's the thing. I have, I think, 10,000 subscribers on my vision board. I did not achieve 10,000 subscribers this year, but I did hit the 1,000 mark, which is huge. And that is just another testament to why making this gratitude list is important. Because if I just looked at my vision board and was like,
I didn't get 10,000 subscribers, putting that shit on there again next year, and again, and again.
Like, I've been putting it on there for years now. However, I'm not gonna stop, for one. For two, I am taking a moment to be like, okay, maybe I'm setting too high of a goal for myself. That's a whole different conversation for a separate portion, but that's one thing to consider. Am I setting realistic goals? Number one. Number two, you did accomplish something. It's just not on here. 1,000 subscribers is a big deal. I had several videos go viral this year. They were dance videos, but they were videos, and I'm very proud of that. I've gained my subscriber count to the highest that it's ever been. That is a big deal. I have on here different pictures of the Bible verses and reading the Bible, and that's because I wanted to get closer to God this year. That I did. Very proud of myself. This is my most consistent year in terms of going to church. I've never gone as much as I do now. Very proud of myself for taking the time to make an intentional relationship with God. And I also got baptized this year, which is a very, very big deal. So I'm very grateful for that. And it's something, getting baptized specifically wasn't on my vision board, but it's something that I accomplished and that I did and that I'm very, very proud of. There's other stuff on here. I did a lot of traveling, but that's also going to be in the self-reflection portion of this as well, because I'm not sure, I was supposed to do all that traveling. I have like some spa stuff on there, and I did make the point to go to the spa for my 27th birthday because treating myself to luxurious things is a part of what I wanted to normalize in the new year. So I'm glad that I did that. I didn't go a bunch of times, granted. I went on my birthday as a treat to myself, and then I also did get a facial for free one time. It just happened. And that honestly, doing this New Year Life Audit, it definitely makes you kind of self-reflect, which is going to be the second thing that we do. But it does make you self-reflect and actually have this is the whole point of a life audit. You're having like these epiphanies, and you're able to step outside of yourself and try to look at things from a different perspective. This year, something that I learned was that I think small, or I've had the tendency to think small. So I want next year, or at least Q1 and 2, to have the theme of thinking big. And I know we've all seen that funny meme like,
think big, bitch.
Think big, bitch. Like, yeah, I really want to do that. I really want to do that because I did not go as far as embarking on a true rebrand until last month. I really felt it's been on my mind since August, but I really started to put it into motion in November. And I'm proud of myself for coming to that realization. But just looking at my list of things on my vision board, there was a lot of things that I could have maybe put a little bit more effort toward trying to accomplish, but I didn't because I was thinking small. Certain things I should have made an effort to do prior, or at least a little bit earlier, but I'm not going to be too hard on myself. We're giving ourselves grace in this era of our lives. We're giving ourselves grace. But yeah, like I definitely want to have more specific numbers in terms of stacking my money and my financial goals for myself. I'm about to start making Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 vision boards because everything, like there's big goals, there's small goals, and then there's things that I'm realizing I can think bigger about. But that is the whole point of doing a New Year Life Audit. Looking at these things, stepping back, stepping outside of yourself, and look from being the outside looking in, I realized that I could have thought a little bit bigger in 2024, and I'm going to do that in 2025. So like another example of that is like the facials and the spa situation. Like I want to normalize that, yes, but I also have financial goals, so I didn't do that a lot. However, there are inexpensive ways for me to have taken better care of my skin and actually making an effort to get a facial. Like I wanted to do that, but I wasn't thinking like, oh, that's something that I can feasibly do. But there are ways that I can do that for an affordable price. The only facial that I got was because Danae went home for her birthday, and she missed her flight, and she had a hand and stone appointment and she couldn't make it, so she sent me, and I ended up getting a facial. And I have a picture of someone getting a facial on my vision board because I told myself I need to do more things like that for myself, and I ended up not getting it until it was free. With the couch, I only got that because it became available for a very affordable price. I think I paid $250 for that couch. Yeah, like the bed I should have been got for myself, but the way my bed, I slept on a broken bed for probably a year. It was just not it. It was just not it. And those are 3 examples of how I did not think big enough in 2024, and that is my learning lesson and the theme that I will be taking into 2025. So as you're doing your gratitude list, I wanted it to be all gratitude. I started to kind of take a sidetrack. But first, number 1 thing you're going to do is to make your gratitude list of all the different things you've accomplished, whether they're on your vision board list or not. Take the time, be like, okay, what did I do? Don't bash yourself about what you didn't do, kind of how I just did. Don't do that. Just make a list of all of the good things and all of the things that you're proud of that you did. And I'm also going to do this again in my journal. So I hope that you're able to do this maybe in a setting where you're either writing it down or you're saying it out loud, you're talking to your friends, something. You want to see the list so that you have something tangible. Like, look at all that I did in 2024. That's how you should be feeling coming out of step number 1. Step 2, like the second part of your year in review with your manager, they're going to look at some of the things that you kind of fell a bit flat on in 2024, and they're going to ask, what do we think happened here? The numbers were kind of low for these months. I know you kind of had a leave of absence. I recognize that you did have X, Y, and Z going on, but let's talk these things through and figure out how we can overcome these problems in 2025. You're gonna take that time to do this with yourself right now. So for me, looking at your vision board, or maybe just reflecting and just looking inward and being like, okay, where could I have done better at in 2024? Financially, I could have definitely done better. I put vibes before my financial responsibilities. Not so much my responsibilities, but before my financial goals, for sure. I put vibes before that, and that definitely took a toll on me. I also feel like I could have done better with my intake. I think that, you know, I had a lot of emotional things going on last year as well. The Lover Girl Survival Guide started last year because I was down bad at one point, y'all. I was down bad emotionally, mentally. I was fighting. I'm looking at the affirmations on my mirror that I put up during that time because I needed to see it and consume it daily because I was not in a good place. And with that in mind, you have the tendency to, you know, rely on your friends a little bit more. You want to go outside a little bit more. You want to drink a little bit more. You want to turn up. You want to distract yourself from the feelings that you're having. So I think that internally I could have loved myself a little bit better in 2024. And I also think internally I could have been a lot better with my consumption. Like I said in the previous section, this has been my most consistent gym year. With that in mind, I feel like I would have had a lot better physical results, visible results, had I been more intentional about my intake. So that is something that I'm going to work on in 2025. And then considering, like, while you're doing this, I want to make sure that you're being kind to yourself. So I just told y'all I was going through it emotionally with my dating. What would I even call that? With my dating escapades, it took a toll on me emotionally, and I was, you know, in and out of situationships that really left a mark on me. So I will be kind to myself where that is concerned. And I also lost my grandfather last year, and that also caused me to travel a lot, and it also had me not being as consistent as I would have liked where my YouTube channel is concerned. I just was doing so much traveling back and forth between home and here to the point where it took a toll on my pockets, and I definitely was not thinking about like, oh, I gotta get this YouTube video. I gotta get this YouTube video. No, like my family is going through it. I was going through it. It was a lot. So as you're doing your self-reflection portion of your New Year Life Audit, I want you to also make sure that you're being kind to yourself and you're taking anything that may have happened to you, anything that may have been traumatic or considerably distracting during 2024. Like, we're not going to be so unkind to ourselves where we forget all of the things we may have been through. Like, God forbid you lost somebody or you suffered from a breakup. Like, all of those things are things you should take into consideration when doing your self-reflection. However, this is the opportunity for you to be raw and real with yourself. This is a time for you to give yourself the constructive criticism that a manager would give you if you were doing a proper year in review at your corporate job. So really take the time to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, part of this was because I was down bad. This other part was because I was outside and I wanted to be, and I was. And I wasn't thinking about nothing when I was swiping that credit card. And then when I was hungover and did not film them YouTube videos like I had intended to do. So all of that are things that you take in mind. And then with this self-reflection list, what I want for you to do is make a list of the things that you want to improve on in 2025, or ideally try to categorize the following year. You're putting your life into categories now. Step number 3, let's categorize and list all the things we want to work on within each category. So for me, my life should be split into the categories of health and wellness, career content, finances, mental and spiritual development. Those are my categories. Your categories might look different. Maybe you're a mother. Maybe you are somebody's wife or husband. You might have a family category. I do friends and family, like, I feel like should maybe be in its own category, but I don't really have anything that I think I need to work on in that category. But if you do, if you feel like you could be a better mom, husband, wife, sister, auntie, whatever, maybe that would be a category within itself. Or if you want to improve the way that your family does things, just make the list, categorize your life into the way that your life fits. That's what is so imperative about a New Year Life Audit, is that you make it adjust to what your life looks like. Don't just go follow any old life audit and just make all the necessary changes that someone tells you to make. This should be something where you've done the self-reflection from the previous section and you're like, okay, these are the areas of my life that need work. Let's figure out how we're going to do some improving in each of those areas. So for me, an example of what would go into my health and wellness category would be to improve my intake. We're going to minimize the alcohol intake in 2025, and we're also going to eat better. We're going to eat better. We're going to have more consistent diets, and I'm going to start seeing better results, getting rid of that lower belly fat and things of that nature, so I can feel the most confident in any outfit, any swimsuit, any vibe. Like, I want to see that. And it's not even just about how I look in a bathing suit. It's also how I feel. So I want to have a better relationship with going out. I don't need to get tore up. Like, I don't need to go crazy. I don't need to get drunk every time I go out. Like, we can keep it cute. And that is something I'll be working on within the health and wellness category of my life in 2025. Within the finances, I want to rebuild my savings. Yeah, that Dawn is obliterated, and I am frustrated about that. But we're not going to be mad at ourselves. We're going to be kind to ourselves. We're being kind, okay? So yeah, that is something that I want to work on in my finance department. If you have a financial category for your 2025 New Year Life Audit, try to get specific. How much do I want in my savings? By what time? The final step will allow us to minimize our goals into Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So don't feel like you have to be uber specific, but thinking long term, this is your time to nail that down. I want to have enough to put a down payment on a house. Boom. That number would go in this category. I also know that I want to pay off my credit card bills. Like, I want to pay off the credit cards in full. That's my long-term goal under my finance category. When I make the shorter Q1 list, this credit card in this quarter, this credit card in that quarter, or whatever is actually feasible and practical for you to overcome. So yeah, make sure that we're keeping that in mind as we're making this list of things that we want to work on. In my content and career category, yes, it is always going to be a goal of mine to become monetized on this here platform because I love doing this. I feel like I'm good at it, and I think there's too much money on the internet for me not to be getting me none. Quite literally. Like, let's make that shake. Monetization is a general and long-term goal for me in this category in terms of content creation. And career, I also want a promotion. I'm working toward that. I'm handling things. I'm getting to the bag. I'm going above and beyond. I'm showing that I'm capable, and that's a goal for me as well in that category. And then with spiritual, mental development, I want to make sure that I'm pouring into myself a lot more in 2025, that I'm incorporating it into my budget to take time for the spa, take time to get massages. As much as I'm working out, I deserve to get my back rubbed. My back be hurting. Like, I should be able to feasibly get a facial, feasibly and comfortably get a massage. I also want to continue to build my relationship with God. I want to be able to finish the Bible because I'm only at Deuteronomy, and the Bible's long and I want to read that whole thing. So I think long term I should be able to finish the Bible in 2025. And then as we get into the more specific quarter by quarter goals, I can put more practical and specific goals where reading the Bible is concerned, going to church is concerned, or any other of my spiritual, mental, and emotional goals that would be within that category. So those are just a few examples for me. Make sure you're taking the time to split your life into those different categories, whichever ones are most important to you, and set yourself long-term goals within that category. What do you want to work on generally in 2025 under each of these categories? Because remember, the goal is to become better versions of ourselves. In its entirety, we want to be the best versions of ourselves. We want to grow, glow, elevate, and reach new peaks. And we're only going to do that by becoming a better and more well-rounded individual in all these different areas of our life. We don't want to let one slack because we're working on one thing. So hopefully that makes sense. And lastly, we are going to focus on Q1. In the corporate world or in a lot of different work settings, people have goals, or they set goals not for the entire year, but rather for the quarter. But basically this thought process is, instead of setting your goals for the entire year, you're going to set them per quarter. So I just created a long list of things that I want to work on across categories for throughout the entire year. What are some goals that are more practical and specific to Q1? Because yes, I did emphasize that we want to become well-rounded individuals and we want to work on becoming the best versions of ourselves in all of these different categories. However, working on all of them at the same time is a recipe for disaster. So we are going to take all of that into consideration and say, okay, what is something that I could accomplish in the next 3 months? That is the goal. We have 4 quarters in a year, 3 months within each quarter. January, February, March, what is feasible for me? I know I can pay off one of my credit card bills because one of them is feasibly capable for me to pay it off. To pay off both in Q1, I would have to get 3 new jobs. But you need to look at your goals and be like, okay, I could do that in 3 months. What part of those goals that you just wrote down can you break down into something accomplishable in 3 months? So no, maybe I can't lose 50 pounds in 3 months, but I could lose 10. Write that down in your Q1 list. How much is feasible for you to do? Put that under your Q1 list. So I know that I want to pay off at least one of my credit cards. That is a big goal for me. Where content creation is concerned, I don't know if I can become monetized in Q1. I really, really would like to, but it's hard to try to gauge that. But I do believe I could at least hit 2,000 subscribers. If I'm at 1.2 right now, I think I could get 2,000 subscribers. And even if not, I know that I can dedicate myself to uploading once a week. Let's think about what I can control. I can't control if people hit the subscribe button, but I can control how many videos I get up per week. So also make sure you're taking that in mind as well. When you're setting these intentional Q1 goals, don't put all of your effort and energy into what you're gonna hope to achieve, but you can't physically make it happen. Like you can't make another person give you the promotion, but you can physically do X, Y, and Z that would help you get toward the promotion. Does that make sense? You can't make them give you a raise, but if the people that get raises go above and beyond at work, or they meet these numbers, you can work to meet those numbers so that you are now an eligible person for that raise or that promotion. I hope that makes sense. You're gonna do this for Q1, and then once you have this list, I want you to try to visualize it. Look through Pinterest, find pictures that embody all of the different goals that you have for Q1. I'm going to do this with you. I'm gonna make me a grand list for 2025, a grand Pinterest board with all of the aesthetic photos that go with all of the goals that I set across categories for my larger list in section 3. And then I will also have me a little Q1 vision board, if you will. I will keep it somewhere that I can see it consistently and that I can make sure I'm working toward it every single day for those 3 months, because I think that the reason that a lot of your 2024 goals may not have come true, at least for me, is because I'm looking at it as an entire year and not within this Q1 framework. So yes, I'm gonna have my large list for the year because it is very fulfilling and rewarding to look back and be like, oh, I put that on my vision board for the year and I got it done. And I do encourage you doing that. It's very humbling as well. But I also think that if I minimize my actionable list, my action items list, and the goals that I have just for Q1, I'll feel like I'm accomplishing more. Because in 3 months, you can do a lot more when you set your mind to it and you have specific action items to get you there. So with that, I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that you're able to take these goals and bring them into fruition for 2025. We are going to take this life audit very seriously, and we are going to hold it near and dear to us. We're going to put these vision boards in places that we're going to be able to see them every single day, and we are going to work toward them physically, intentionally in Q1. That is what we're going to do, and I'm going to do it with you guys. We're going to do it together, and we're going to see some things shake. So why don't y'all let me know in the comments what goals you have for Q1 in particular, and y'all know mine already, so yeah. Let me know what you're working on. I'm hoping that we can work on these things together. And like I said already, if you haven't, please hit that notification bell and that subscribe button, because I have so much more content coming your way. I promised 1 video a week and I'm standing on that. So hold me accountable. Thank you again, and I will see y'all in the next video.